Greetings everyone. Lancescurv here, returning with a different set of acoustics behind me. I'm in a different place right now, but I always keep my recorder with me so I can drop it whatever way I feel, right? I want to thank everyone who contributes to my knowledge base. I have conversations with some wonderful, wonderful people. And I have to say, these individuals help me to grow, help me to become better than what I've ever been before. And whatever I am, they have helped to add on to me. So it may be a little echoey here because actually I'm up at my house and everything is wide open. And like I said, it's so peaceful and tranquil here. But what I mean by that is that it's a continuous education for me. You know, many people choose to sometimes say, hey, Lance, I'm not for the shows, but I want to feed you some information. Some come on, but it's been a learning experience for me. And since I've slowed down to enjoy the scenic route in life, I've slowed down a little bit to enjoy smelling the roses, so to say. It's a healthy balance of living, vibing with good people, and learning. And so I wanted to start out this way. I don't know where I'm going to go with this particular segment. I did not do one yesterday. It was because the day was extremely hectic and I found myself up late somewhat and I had to get up early to take care of some other business. But here I am. Before I leave, I'm going to put this down and this will be up by tonight. Anyway, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I might be jacking it up. I know we have an aura. So when you say auric field, A-U-R-I-C, I hope I'm saying it right. If not, forgive me. But in concept, I'm going to talk about this. Now, a very wonderful, dynamic individual shared this with me. And she knows a whole lot, okay? And I'm just so blessed to have her in my life. And just as I am blessed to have all of you who are listening to this in my life. Now, I want to speak about that. Now, the way I spoke about it before, right? She knows a little more. So this is how I thought about it. I always said that your energy goes beyond your body. I always said that it's pretty much standard for most people, but for the most part, as powerful as you are, this field of energy around you, this is my theory, right? It goes beyond when you have this strong personality, when you have this strong will, when you have this strong id. It might go out 10 feet. It might go out 15 feet. You're the kind of person that when you walk in the room, everybody turns their head. They might be down writing something on the desk and you open the door. They don't even hear it. They just feel you and they're looking at you. You're the kind of person that when you walk down the street, when you have this aura, this energy field around you that's powerful more than most, you could be dressed regular. You could be nondescript as you want to be, dressed down, no jewelry, nothing special that sticks out, but they can't keep their eyes off of you. There's just something about you that they must look at you. They study every part of you. And it's nothing different where you're standing out. It's because of your personality, your aura, your energy. And you have weak individuals who have weak personalities, who don't stand out. If they're dressed nondescript, nobody pays them any mind. If they have diamonds and gold and baubles and rubies and step out of a luxury car with designer jeans on, the expensive shoes and a top and a bag, whatever, people won't pay them no mind. And when they run across you now, who you could be nondescript in your dressed down, and they could be with their what they call Sunday best, and they're angry at you now because they're looking at you. They can't figure it out. They think to be noticed that you have to have all of this fine raiment, but you don't. But see, here's the trick. You who have the powerful aura, that auric field, that auric energy field around you, you're not looking for attention. As a matter of fact, you might be looking to be still, to be quiet, to be unnoticed and away from people. See, this is the thing. When we talk about soul ties, when you actually have sexual intercourse. And you swap energy, you blend, you average out. Like the joke I always say, if 100, the number 100 went to bed with the number 50, when it wakes up, it becomes number 75. Because 50 gained now from the energy of 100. The 100 is higher than a 50, right? So 50 becomes 75. 100 becomes 75, right? So now if the 75 that used to be 50 slept with 125, something super strong, it's going to gain and become 100%. And that 125% is going to go down to 100. So imagine, we see people that look good. Their bodies look nice. It turns us on. They got nice shapes. They're in shape and they got a nice body. And there's something about their energy that's attractive. That could be a demon with a fishing rod, right? With a bait on the hook, and that person is the bait on the hook to get you to go bite that hook of that nice ass, that hook of that beautiful cleavage, that hook of that delicious mouth-watering vulva, and those pretty legs wrapped around that you say, oh, I would love to have those thighs wrapped around my head. That could be a hook. I'm not demonizing women, because the same thing is with a man. And you see this man and you say, oh, he has this nice six-pack and he has this nice chest and he's hung down to his knees. And look how swollen it looks with the veins in it. You see, I know how women talk. You know what I mean? That could be a hook to the fishing rod, to this demonic entity. This incubus, this succubus, this demon who wants to pull you in through the bait of this gorgeous, drop-dead, sexy person with this alluring stare and this energy about them. Understand that people can enter your life. Say, for example, if you could imagine an energy field around you, right? And they have a powerful energy field, but they pull it in. And now you're in the waiting room, say for the doctor's office, or maybe the pharmacy, and there's 10 people seated waiting for their prescription to be filled. There are people, I feel, that can control their auric field around them that may be a seducing spirit and project it to you. So you're sitting over there on the other side of the room, and they can take their field and not bring it out evenly 10, 15, 20 feet, but it will stay a foot or two around them, but the part going toward you to engulf you, to consume you, to focus on just you. And you might be reading a magazine, and you look up and you notice something about this person. You feel this person. They may not even be looking at you with their natural eyes, but they're looking at you with the spiritual eyes, and they shot some seductive energy over by you, and they may not even be dressed sexy, but you look at them and you say, what is this about this person? And they look up innocently, and they focus that energy more so on you. And you can't help but go over to them and start talking. And you may not even be this kind of person. And you just feel the need. And it feels good. And see, that devil got you hooked through this person who purposely shot their energy and their auric field over to you. The same way you can feel unconditional love from people who don't know you, but they have love in their heart and they want to share their love. And their presence is soothing. That old grandma, it might not even be your grandma, but that grandma sitting on the porch, she has a life together. She's collecting her little checks in retirement. Her home is paid for. Maybe she's widowed and her husband has passed away 15, 20 years ago, but she's content where she is. And you don't know her, but you walk past the street, down the street every day, and you see her, and she greets you, and you greet her, and you said to yourself, you know, one day, on my day off, I'm going to come back up here, and I'm going to speak to this woman. I'm going to speak to her, because she has a certain spirit. And you walk up, and you say, excuse me, ma'am, I greet you every morning when I'm going to work. I greet you every evening when I'm coming from work. I just think, and I want to say, that you seem to have a special energy about you, and she's smiling at you. And you say, well, maybe, may I come in and just sit down and talk with you in the seat next to you? And she says, yes. And you have the most wonderful conversation with this woman, and you're just so endeared to her. You want to do things for her. Now you can't get her out of your life. And if she was destined to pass away in 3 years, the energy you gave her in receiving her and the exchange of love makes it where she lives an extra 15 years. So the auric energy I feel is something that can enhance or something that can burden us. My question is, what kind of energy are you carrying? What kind of energy are the people around you carrying? Will you be that 100 that becomes now 75? And so once that 100 is 75 and it sleeps with something that's 25, it now becomes 50. And here's the downward spiral of your life. But we never look at it that way. We are the sum total of the energies that we're involved in. You know, when we were younger, mathematics, we called it arithmetic, right? And so we would have the 2 plus 2. Yeah, that's 4. You know, you're in first grade. You're just learning. So it's a big thing. 7 plus 8. Oh, it's 8. You would compete to put your hands up to show the teacher how smart you were. And when you did, the teacher would say, okay, Lance, we know you have it. Let the others, that way you don't feel bad when they don't answer you. So now saying that alone elevates you. You feel good because I know I'm smart. She doesn't want me to answer any more questions anymore. Some of you have experienced that. So sometimes they'll get complicated. They'll do the little board thingy where as soon as you get in, you have to solve these problems before class starts. And so they'll say, okay, what is 3 plus 4 minus 2 plus 7 divided by something complicated? So you start out with a number, you add on something, you subtract something, and then you divide it by something, and then you get an answer that's very unique. And when you have long chain equations this way, oftentimes it could become something that the classmates of yours get different answers. You know what I mean? So this is how your day is. You get around that old grandmother who gives to you. You add on something. You see that person who's always depressed and cranky and jealous and gossipy on somebody, they take away from you. You get your attention broken up in different ways. You're online, you have the TV on, the phone's ringing, you're trying to talk on the phone, look at the computer, look at the TV, and make the to-do list for the next day, which you're going to miss out because you're so distracted. Now you're divided. See, we can become divided, and it could be innocent things that we think, well, it's not going to hurt us because I'll just multitask. No, it's dividing your attention. You see what I mean? So the energy's out there. If your auric field is 5 feet, now this was pointed out to me, and I think it's very brilliant, and I think it's a tremendous insight. Why did they say during the time of the jab, that thing there, that we had to socially distance ourselves 6 feet away, and we had to wear a mask? I didn't say anything wrong, YouTube. You can't get me. So if the auric field is 5 feet, and we're supposed to stand away from each other 6 feet, then that means we can't feel each other's energy. Now, I'm willing to bet if you have a strong personality, it goes out further. You can't catch germs from a spiritual energy, but you can get STDs from being around somebody, sexually transmitted demons, or just these energies that are transmitted to you, right? It doesn't have to be sex. Their energy, their seductive energy, their depression energy, their positive energy. Whatever they're going through at that time is going to affect you. This is why when you lend your shoulder for someone to cry on, you're anticipating taking some of their burdens off of them, as a friend should do. So you don't mind listening to them, and you might feel a little down in listening to them, but you expect this because you want to uplift them and unburden them of their energies. See? And you realize when you're doing this in a righteous way, it doesn't make the candle flame less when you light other candles. as long as those other candles are positively based. Because number one, you'd be wasting your time trying to talk sense to a person who is only into gossip. They're only into ripping people apart. They're only into being around a person to use you with no reciprocation in the future. It doesn't have to be right away. They're just plain old bad energy. And you will be sucked down for a long time, because when you do good for someone who is positive and trying to do good in the world, no matter how much they put a burden on you, it's a righteous thing because you're regenerating them. And if you regenerate them and they become back to full strength, you have something to do with that. You will get residual positivity given back to you, reimbursed to you. But you cannot invest in people who have bad energy and who are focused on the wrong things. It will not give you a return. So just think with some of us, right? We go to these jobs. Our auric fields are all up next to people, next to them by the cubicle, by the water cooler. You're passing them in the bathroom. You have to go to board meetings, and it's something about these people that you just can't really get with. Some of them are good, some of them are neutral, but they're just some. This is why you find yourself waking up in the morning and say, "Oh God, I don't want to go to this job anymore." Well, what if the job were all of your good friends that you loved for many years? You would be running to the job. But one of the reasons why you say this is because, whether you know it or not, there are people there with auric fields that are sucking from you and pulling you down, even when they have a smile on their face. So you got to be careful who you're around. And I speak about these things in a preventative way, and I'm a very positive person, but I tend to always talk about things to prevent from the negative people, because they can throw your plans off. They can kill your spirit. That is their job. See, you can't forget that that's the job of these people. This is their job. This is what they do. This is what they're put here to do. So you have other people who say, well, I get along with them fine. Well, maybe they don't mind losing the positive energy, or maybe they're not positive at all. Maybe it's a matter of birds of a feather flock together. Because after a while, when you're around a person, you're going to find out if you're a kindred spirit or not. You're going to find out if you're giving and they're taking. You're going to find out if they are bad energy and how they affect your auric field. Another thing is, I feel that the more powerful you are in life, you got that from somebody. It may not have been your parents. It may not have been anybody in your household. There is a predestined thing about you also where you're going to be this way. Now, if you're placed in a bad environment to try to damage you because they see the light in you, well, you got a battle there. And they're going to try to set you back because they didn't have this thing, and you're different from the rest of your family. Your DNA sharing family. You're different from them. And early on, with siblings and the things you go through, you know, all siblings have issues when they're growing up and they're in the teenagers and below. Don't wear my shirt. You took my candy. Mommy treats you better than me. Mild things. But then there are serious things that happen from young where you are different. And there's always an issue with your brother. There's always an issue with your sisters. You vibe different. And I find it to be so true that when you get older, you're on your own. You get into your late 20s, your 30s, your 40s. Some siblings don't even, an occasional phone call once a year. And I've seen also beautiful families where these families, they get along with each other. You see what I mean? And I think it's a beautiful thing when I see families, DNA sharers, get along with each other. And I have to make the difference also. DNA sharers, you came from the same blood. You came from the same parents. Or have situations, one parent, whatever. But you have an overlapping parent. And so you have the same DNA. And so we're brought up to think that we're all supposed to be like one tight, happy-knit family, you know, as we get older. And that's not always the case. Now we have examples of family that you may not share DNA, but you're just as close. You bond, you blend, you meld. You're a one mindset. You're like kindred spirits. You could meet in the depth of your connection, the depth of your friendship after 2 or 3 months could be deeper than one who you've known for 40 or 50 years. It's just like that. And you can share things with these individuals who you connect with, and it's not a forced connection. It just happened naturally. And this happens with friendships. This happens with romantic situations. And it's a beautiful thing. So not everybody is an enemy. Not anybody is a negative person. But whenever you meet anyone, just keep your guard up, because their auric field can be flavored in a way to appear to be something good, even if they're not aiming it at you, pushing it on you. They just sit there passive, and you come to them because that's your decision, because they look good to you. I don't mean just look physically, but I mean, we don't pick friends like that. Wow, they look good, I want to be their friend. No, that's weird. That's more of a sexual thing when you're, oh man, look at that, they look good. That's more of a sexual thing. So there are different ways that we can be attracted to people, but we have to also understand that we ourselves can be tainted in a way because of our needs and our voids. So while we are unknowingly most of the time affected by people that have different auric fields, it could be us that get attracted to the false imagery or the false feel. How many times have you heard of people who fell madly in love with somebody who didn't even care for them? And the person who fell madly in love, they received something from them because of their own deficiencies and their own voids. Did you see how she looked at me? Oh, I know she wants me. Oh, I know. Oh, you know, there's a situation that I heard of where a person said, I really want you to relocate and move out here. And they took the words, I really want you, and forgot the rest of the sentence and running around, oh, they said they wanted me. No, you're delusional, and you're looking to get your heart broken. Ain't nobody say that. You see what I mean? So we have to be careful in how hungry we are, because just like Eddie Murphy said in the stand-up comedy, what was it, back in 1985, it was Eddie Murphy Raw. And I think he was saying how Ritz crackers you have, the crackers, like, okay, that's the gourmet version. And then you got the cheap store-bought, no-name brand, but you're so hungry that the cheap crackers taste like Ritz crackers. So sometimes you could be so hungry for love and affection that that person who, when you are vibrating high, you wouldn't even notice them. Not that you're condescending, but they seem to be, oh my God, because it's been a long time that you have received love. And a little bit of attention from a low vibrational person can overwhelm you. And then you get back on your feet emotionally and you're like, what the heck was I thinking about? Why am I with this person? And again, I'm not saying that some people are better than others, but people vibrate different. And when your vibration is low and you hang out with low vibrational people, as you rise up to strength, then now they fall off or they cling on to you because they want to go higher with you. Now, if they want to learn and get better on a spiritual level, no problem. But if they want a free ride on the depth of your spirituality, you got to let them go. It's like, here's how it goes. Let's just be real. I've known a lot of situations in my life, and I'm going to tell you one of them. I knew a family. They weren't the wealthiest people in the world. They were downtrodden, really bad. And the mother, she was very wise, very smart, very aware of status, money, and affluence. And so she always pushed her kids, told them, you want to be friends with this one or that one, and the this one and the that one that she's talking about were the little rich white kids that lived in the affluent white subdivisions, right? And she always, because you're innocent as a child, you don't know what's going on, but here goes this mother, there's a black woman, Black people are not all perfect, y'all. But she never wanted her children to hang out with the children in her neighborhood. It was always because of the connection at school. On the weekends, you want to be friends with them so you can go over there. And of course, they never wanted to come in the hood where they lived. But she pushed them, she pushed them, she pushed them. So that was in their mind. So now they got older and they hung with them and they got the benefits of being with them. The connections that those little white kids who were affluent and had connections where the parents had connections in the political realm, you know, high money people. And again, all white folks ain't rich. We're talking about those who were affluent at that time. So I'm kind of telling the story in a broad way. I don't want to really blow up the person because a lot of people know them. But they lost a piece of themselves. They didn't have friends in their own neighborhood. They couldn't relate to themselves. You see? So we have lots of times pushed situations, you know, forced situations, and it's just not right with the energy. You understand? It's just like out here in Ghana. To be real, there are a lot of women that come out to Ghana, single women. You know, it's just like passport brothers. It's like, I'm going to retire. I want to go out to Ghana or other African countries. I want to find a good man and settle down. Nothing's wrong with that, because there are a lot of American brothers that come out here and connect with Ghanaian women and marry and whatever. I'm not against black love globally, global black love. But when there's a motivation behind it, it can trip you up. Let me just give you one example, or several. There are a lot of women who move out to Ghana, black women from America, and a lot of them seem to end up in the Cape Coast area. The Cape Coast area is not the most exciting, but it's a nice place to build a home and settle down. But if you're looking for New York nightlife or Miami nightlife, you ain't going to find it. You got to come down to Accra for that. Accra is like, it's the capital, right? But it's like the New York City of Ghana in certain parts, because most of it is country around here, right? And I like that. So you have these women who come out here and, you know, the demeanor of the gentlemen out here are a little different, but you also got some snakes. You also got some snakes, and they're looking for this. And so they will say what you want to hear, be that person, but they have their eyes on your pension check. They have their eyes on the money you have coming in. And so after a couple nights of passionate aerobics, if you know what I'm trying to say, and you're sprung because he got up in that thing and tore it up. Now you're madly in love, but you don't realize that he's working on 3 or 4 more American women or women from the UK or somewhere else. That's his job, to secure himself. And he put on a different type of aura, a different type of energy to be all that you wanted a man to be. I forgot what they call it, right? But they have this, a locksmith has this contraption that when you're locked out, he sticks this thing inside the keyhole and it becomes the key. The tumblers get turned because this thing gently rises up and becomes and fills in the little parts, and it's just like it's a key, customized, but you can stick it in any lock. And it gently moves the tumblers in a way where it opens your door. You have a lot of shapeshifters out here with their auric fields. And see, they can look one way to one person and appear to be something to another person. So if you have a guy in a nightclub and there are 3 young ladies sitting there that he just met, he's trying to talk to one of them or all of them. He can sit there and talk to 3 simultaneously and shapeshift his energies to appeal to all of them, even though they have different tastes. Y'all didn't know about that, did you? So you have some people who are spiritual wizards who will manipulate their aura to attract a whole slew of people. When you have these people who are cult leaders or want to be cult leaders, narcissistic, psychopathic cult leaders, and I don't mean they have to actually run a cult, but there are some men and some women out here who have so many people chasing after them because they have thrown out their energy in an engineered way to appear to so many people. And I'm almost messed up, but also to appear and appeal. My Freudian slips are always on point. Ever notice that? And he pulls them in, but he deals with one at a time. See, you have women like this. You have men like this. The auric field. Whose auric field are you moving into? Especially when they give you that eye contact and they're downloading your energies. They're picking your spiritual lock to figure out what it takes to open that lock. They are the key that can shift and become that original key that you need, that you have not met yet. And they open your lock and they get on in your private premises, your private parts, the subconscious mind. They get all up in you like a virus and they make your life sick. But for a while, it's feeling real good. Have you ever consumed your favorite dish, but there was something wrong with it, like food poisoning? And the very thing that you ate down, and it's always something that you like. And you're like, oh, I got food poisoning. I had too much Chinese chicken, some kind of, a sesame chicken or whatever it may be. Could be Italian food, could be Jamaican food. You tore this meal up. And you just felt like you had no energy after a while. You just sat there. Then you began to get sick. So you have to be careful of what your eye sees to be as very appealing. You might be inviting death and chaos into your world. Because like I like to say, when the negativity comes to us, and let's just say it the Christian way, when the devil knocks on our door, we gladly let him in. And when you look back at most situations that you've been in that you regret, that you wish you'd never been in, nobody put a gun to your head to make you get into this situation. Click, click, and the gun's at your head. You're going to be my friend. We're going to be close, and you'll let me in, and you'll loan me money, and I'll be up in your living room. I'll go up in your refrigerator. It'll be okay. Oh, okay. You'll be my friend. No, it's never like that. You let them in. You let them in. Like Poltergeist, let me in. Let's talk about it. Remember that old white man on Poltergeist 2? Let me in. You're all gonna die in there. All of yous. And he would always show up crazy. That's how they do. And sometimes they do it and even they don't know it. Because remember, it's not only them, and not to take them away from the blame, but they're the hook and they're the bait for something bigger. So sometimes they get with you and they don't know they're going to destroy your life, but they are. It's not like they all consciously know and have this plan, but many have these impulses to connect with you when they find your energy a certain way. And they can test you so quick. Don't underestimate these types of spirits. Don't underestimate these types of people who have these energy fields around them. They can feel you. I mean, the rude guy in the public transportation who brushes by you on your backside to feel the softness of your cheeks for his own sexual thrill, but he was saying, excuse me, and he brushed by you. Well, they don't have to physically brush by you to know what you feel like on a spiritual level, because you have spiritual booty. I'm just making a joke, right? And they're feeling your spiritual booty, and you're across the room. Or you might be next to them, and they're not touching you, but they're gauging you. Let me tell you a little something, how it works on this level. Let me just check my time here. I can't even tell my time. This light is so low on this thing. What am I going to do? Let me see something. Okay, there it is. Okay, I see my time. Yeah. You all know I used to drive a bus in Orlando, Florida. It Lynx Bus Company. Lynx, like the cat, Lynx. Been a number of years. Did a good amount of years there. Already knew social media. Human nature. Social media, yeah. I was doing social media years before I even started driving the bus, right? But human nature, already knew it. Worked in a jail a couple years, worked in a prison a couple years. Intense situations, but nothing different that I haven't seen growing up in New York City, right? But when I say that these spirits can test you without touching you, they can feel you, they can gauge you. Like two boxers fighting in the first round, you don't really see too many punches being thrown unless they really want to knock the guy out in the first round. They know his style. They feel around, they feint, they duck, they throw fake punches to see your reaction, to see what you're going to do to set you up for something later on in the fight. You're registering them, you're monitoring them, all right? This is what they do in the street. Specific situation here. There's a bunch of guys that do this, and I'm quite sure they do this all over the city, all over different cities in the world, in America. Doesn't matter where you are. I just happen to observe this particular type of thing in Orlando, Florida, right? I've observed it in New York City too. You have a guy who got just out of jail, doesn't have much. He might have an aunt that lets him sleep on the couch, but don't you get too comfortable on that couch because you're going to get up out of here. Only reason you're going to stay here is if you get a job. And he knows he's not going to go for a job. I'm not saying everybody getting out of jail is like this. I'm just saying this particular type. What is the best way, and I've heard them say this, what is the best way to come up and get on your feet? Ladies, listen to this now. Don't take this light. This is old SCURV throwing you a chunk of wisdom here. It's like you're getting ready for that state exam, and the instructor's like, number 25 here, you might want to highlight this because you might see this somewhere else like your test. So I'm giving you one now, right? You have these guys that get out. The best way that they said to come up is to get you a suit somehow. You already been working out. You already looking rested. And if you've been to a prison for a good amount of time where they give you free dental, your teeth and your smile are perfect. So you put this suit on. And you go to a church that's sizable. You go to a church that may not be too big. You don't want it too big. You don't want other competition there, other men who drive luxury cars, whatever. You want to go to a church where the women are basically thirsty. They talk about they seeking God's face, but, when they see your face, they tend to forget about God. They tend to forget about, I'm married to Jesus. Okay, you married to Jesus, but you're sleeping with this jailbird. I hate to say it. A lot of wonderful people have been locked up, right? It doesn't mean anything again. I just said it for just a figure of speech, right? But they have said, I've heard them. I've talked with guys who say this. Man, when I get out, I'm going to get me a nice set of clothes. I'm going to stay by my aunt. She going to let me stay there. I get a little job, make a little bit of money. But you know what? I'm going to start going to church. I'm going to carry that Bible. I'm going to go in there looking good. I'm going to go to the different church functions. And I'm not going to be too thirsty. I'm just going to chill. Talk. When they see that you new meat and you don't have a ring on your finger or a young lady on your arm, they see you well built, teeth nice, handsome, groomed, got game. Trust me, after a while, they'll be fighting over you. All you have to do is act like you are holy. Talk like you are holy. Say the words like you are holy, and they won't question your past that much. They will shoot first and ask questions later. So when I say shoot, it don't mean shooting a gun. Giving you some and ask questions later. Why? Because they know there's going to be a dozen other women who are going to be having their eyes on you. And if you come in there with a Bible and you keep your eyes to yourself and act holy, you're not looking around at women. You're looking at them, but you're not making them think that you're looking around that way, because they're going to be tentative too. And you go in there and you give a testimony, you could make something up. They're watching you and they look at you and they say, oh my God, that's my Boaz. But like I always say, when you say, I'm looking for my Boaz, all they looking for from you, or they're looking for you for your ass and your pocketbook and your bank account and the stability that you have in your life to connect with you forevermore. Now, if you're looking for a good woman and she happens to be in the church, and you really, 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 really do want this, and you really, really, really want to get on your feet, work hard, add on to the world that you're creating, even though she had hers first, okay, if it's fair down the line, whatever way you agree, and it's not a devious thing, I have no problem with that. Or wherever you find a good woman. Don't do her wrong, though. But these guys come in there, they're sharks. So now swinging it around is not just in the church. These guys will get up in the morning time, dress nicely, and come to the downtown area where people connect, where they transfer from one bus to the next, and they hang out there for a week, say 5 days, 5 working days, Monday through Friday. And when I see these types, and I see them standing there near my bus stop, you know, we're downtown, we take our breaks and whatever, people are walking around like crazy, rush hour, and you're about to leave, and he's standing there and say, hey, bro, you getting on this bus? Because I'm about to leave soon. Oh, no. You do the whole route, may take 2 or 3 hours, come back, and it's standing right there. You know, that dude was standing there this whole time. Maybe he came back and transferred or something. I don't know. But you see him all day. And you see him eventually talking to different young ladies. There's some that I know from the jail, or knew when I was in America living from the jail. I said, hey, I wonder what this guy's up to. So he's talking to these young ladies, different ones, not all at one time, because he picks and chooses. You have a young lady who's standing on the bus stop. She has her headphones on. She's reading the Bible. She's reading a book, or she's standing there, and you stand there and let her size you up. And then you slowly approach in a needy way. You don't have a phone on you. You don't have a watch visibly, but you may have both. And you say, excuse me, miss, exactly what time it is? Because the bus over there I was waiting for, it must be late. Play helpless. Now, this is what they're telling me. Be that attractive bird that has its wings clipped, meaning that there's not a woman on earth, unless she's mentally sick, that will see a bird with a broken wing that would not want to help it. You're stoking that motherly thing, that loving thing. You're not looking at her like a mother. You don't want her to look at you like a son, but you use that mentality to jumpstart that feeling. Oh, let me dig in my bag. I have my watch. I have my phone. It's 8:46 in the morning. And then you throw up a little panicky type thing. Oh man, I don't think I'm going to make it to my job. I just hope that they don't fire me. Well, let's pray that you get there in time. Oh, there's my bus. So the next day you already got a conversation with her. So you're standing near her and she sees you and you say, good morning. Thank you for giving me the time. And then she'll turn around and say this: did you get to work on time? Did you get in trouble with your job? Because she's caring. She helped the bird with the clipped wing. It can come many ways. I'm just giving one example of that. How these guys finesse you, y'all. Finesse the women. You got women who finesse the men. We'll talk about that. But I'm talking about the women getting finessed. And so you give a sob story. You know, I was late because of links 2 times before. That's the bus company I drive for. It could be any bus company, right? They fired me. I'm actually looking for another job right now. They fired you. Oh my God. It's now see, he may have a cold-hearted woman he's trying to work on and he discards, and he just starts the game all over again. He'll keep trying this. He may start this with the woman who's right there at 8:45, waiting for the 9 o'clock bus to come. He'll be there 9:15, waiting for the woman who's going to wait for the 9:30 bus, and he'll do this all throughout the day and have 10 different people he's working on. He'll go take a break, get something to eat. At the end of the day, he goes to his auntie's house. He has a cell phone now, and he's exchanged with different women, and he gave them different stories. So he's got to remember his story, which is usually similar, right? So he doesn't get messed up. So he works on these women that feel sorry for him. And he's like, well, listen, you know, I'm a little short on money, but I'll make it. I have a place of my own, you know, but it's kind of tough, you know. And that place of his own is his auntie's house, right? And so she may want to visit with him or talk with him or find out that they're in the same neighborhood. And, you know, he's standing outside in front of the house. Oh, you have such a nice house. Well, thank you. Thank you. You know, I just got to get some work now. So now she's thinking, this guy, well, look, he finds out what church he's going to, and he ends up there. So she's interested in him now. She thinks he's a good man with a nice house, and the car in the driveway is an extra car, but he's not driving it. He probably doesn't ever have a license. So she has him in the church. He's kind of near her. He showed up a little late, but he stands near her and he's talking with her afterward. The service is over. And she introduces him to 2 other church sisters. And the other church sisters that don't know her so good see her with this new man. She doesn't go every week, But he's making sure to go there. Now he's established because he was talking to somebody who is known in it. Do you see how this thing can go? I can go forever with this. But the auric energies that we have, the ability and the desire to finesse somebody, there are people who are coming at you with a purpose. And you've knocked some off unknowingly. You've knocked some off on purpose because you saw what was coming. And sometimes, and oftentimes, you'll find yourself in a situation where it was easy to get in and so hard to get out. And those are the ones that hurt the most. So we have to see ourselves as energy beings. We have to know that we carry a certain energy that the predatory spirits out here can read. If we wear our heart on our sleeve, conversation, talking, when you speak about affairs with married people, it starts out talking. There's no downloading of energy and the chick flips her skirt up and bends over and the guy goes over there and sticks it in and never talked. You were talking. So be careful who you're talking to if you want to remain intact in your marriage, or you want to make sure that your mate is safe, because this person is coming around and talking all the time, acting nice and talking. You see what I mean? Things don't happen overnight. Then some people can put a thought in your head. Fellas, you're talking to this nice lady in the supermarket checkout line, and you happen to know that she has a very full and inviting cleavage. What you going to start thinking? You want to see the rest of them things. And you see what's going on in the backside. If you're thinking carnal, it's going to catch you. It may turn you into a predator. She might want you to come at her because she's the predator. She might be the black widow spider to manipulate and finesse you. You both can be finessers and realize that you both are predators and get pissed off at that. What kind of energy do you have? How do people see your energy? And how has your energy helped you to get in and out of situations in this life? Because it's very important that you know who you are. It's very important that you're careful and you don't even throw out the signals of who you are authentically. You've got to go in stealth mode. You got to make sure that whatever you are on the inside, you don't give it out as freely. Because there's too many of us out here who will read it and turn it around to their advantage and not your advantage. So you got a gray wall, people. Or what is it? What is it? What, Greystone? What is it? There's a term that I learned the other day, Greystone. But the other term was firewall. And I'll stick with that one. Firewall, just like with a computer, the firewall is something that you put up so the hackers can't get in to the inner parts of your computer to hack you. So you've got to firewall the general public. So they're looking at a wall of fire. They can't see past that. They can't see past that energy that you put up to secure you behind it. What good is it to have a door and it doesn't have a lock? What good is it to have a safe and it doesn't have a lock with tumblers that you know the passcode to get in? You're wide open then. You need a firewall. That way people are tentative before they get closer to you to want to rip you off, to use you. And even the good people need to see the firewall, that you don't let people in too close to your life, so you don't share personal things. I tell you, the supermarket is the biggest pickup spot you ever want to see, because there's so many things in your cart that a person can bring up a conversation about. Oh, excuse me, miss, I'm not being nosy, but I see you have this particular type of ice cream. Where did you get it from? That's the stupid ones. Oh, the ice cream aisle, right? Or it may be something. Do you like that? Do you eat this all the time? Is it really a good tasting thing? Well, you know what? Because of you and you said so, I'm going to try some out. Oh, by the way, my name is Lance. You see what I mean? Now you have something in common, the ice cream, right? And now you're in the supermarket. She must live in the area unless she happened to be driving by through somewhere far away and just happened to stop there. But people get their hooks in you. They find out little things about you. They find out your first name. Now they're standing behind you in the checkout line. And when you found out the first name from the common thing of liking the same ice cream, or you're going to buy that ice cream because she recommended it, she wasn't looking to recommend no ice cream. You walked up to her and you asked her, would you recommend that? Oh, it's so much, it's so tasty. But you got to taste this other one now. And now you got her talking. And you find out her first name. You get behind her in the line. You make sure to do this because you let her go. You're going to keep bumping into her, and you can see when she gets in the line. So you get behind her. And then you're saying, well, this ice cream is starting to melt, and I want to really get in to taste this thing. I don't want it to melt, and I don't want it to really harden up again. So what do? You get behind her in the line. You already know her first name. So now you being the shyster, she gets on the phone to check to see if her other car is ready. So now you're listening to this. And see, most women walk around here and don't know how these predators are. Oh, hello, Lexus? Yes, this is Miss Robinson. So you already know her first name is Barbara. Now you found out that her last name is Robinson. Better if it's a name that's not too common. So she doesn't realize that you put two and two together and you see that old beat up Toyota Corolla that she gets into, but you know she has a Lexus. That's three things. First name, last name, Lexus. And so now you're in the line with her and you say, well, you know what? You stoke up a conversation again. I'm so glad I live close by because if I had a long drive, this ice cream would melt. And you'll say, not knowing, well, I live 2 towns over. I live by Roanoke Road in this certain area. Or you just say Roanoke. I'm making this up to make it. And so you're like, okay, her first name is Barbara, last name is Robinson. She has a Lexus and she lives in Roanoke. Let's just say she lives in Roanoke, Virginia. I just picked names, right? And you're in Virginia, another part. You go home and get on social media. You put those coordinates in with the photos on Facebook. Bingo. There might be a lot of Barbara Robinsons, but one might be 88 years old. One might be 15. You see, in high school. You know what I mean? You go down the list in Roanoke, the whole of Virginia may have a whole lot of them. But now you know. Now this is how predators work. And women don't know when you sit back and observe. Men sit back and observe who are predators. There's so much that you give of yourself in passing, right? And you got to tighten up because their auric fields are tainted, toxic, predatory, and they want something out of you, whether it's your money, your sex, your status, or they're looking for a place to live. So you see how easily I broke that down. So many people leave out so much information into the universe and are so open and talking to strangers that they don't realize that this person was a predator, satanic energy that you welcomed on into your life. I hope this made sense for you. I didn't know I was going to go there. I'm just sitting here talking. I got to get up and do a little more work soon before it gets dark. Head on back to the apartment. And these are the things I think about. These are the things I know. Okay, let's go back to the downtown bus stop with that guy who got out of jail. When he gets to know one particular young lady a certain way, he wants to test if he can push up on her. He wants to test to see if she has backbone. So he's drinking a big, tall thing of Coca-Cola. And he says to her, although he knows her already to a point to talk, because she gave him the time. He said he lost his job, and now she's a little sympathetic toward him. He's like, excuse me, could you hold this for me, please? Quick. And she reaches out her hand and holds it while he ties his shoe. He can sense that I can have my way with her. If he ran into that chick who's like, what you mean hold that for you? I don't know that damn thing. You better put it down on the ground yourself. That tells him, I can't manipulate her. I can't you know, because that woman who may do the favor of holding it, she did it in such a subservient, okay. If she does too much of those okays and smiling up in his face, he knows he got a fool. See? So he knows it's just a matter of time before he gets his hands on her pocketbook. He knows it's just a matter of time before he gets his hands on, after a night or two of some really sweet lovemaking, which she thinks is lovemaking. All he's doing is doing a biological function. He's going to call his friends up on the phone and tell them how he had you, and I think she's in love with me. I put this thing on her, and I think she's in love with me. And they'll be like, yeah, man, go, man, get that, man, get that. I bet you'll be driving her car next week. And it's true. You might be dropping her off at her job with her car so you can drive around and go run the game on these next women in her Lexus. You see how it works? You see how it works? And I know most of y'all are not that dumb. And it's not a matter of being dumb. It's a matter of being vulnerable. So if you've gone through stuff like this, know that you are vulnerable at that point. Now, there are a sprinkling of us who are just dumb, male and female. I'm speaking about the females, but there's some men. A lot of y'all are dumb. And you would never call your friends up when you've been finessed. You just charge that to the game. You're like, I ain't telling nobody that. Left me up in a hotel room. I was fast asleep. She slipped something in my drink. I woke up 4 o'clock the next afternoon. You know what I mean? And she was gone. All my money gone. Bank accounts cleaned out. Went all through my cell phone. I was high as a kite. And she talking about, what's the PIN code? What's the passcode on your phone, baby? And things that you think about, like, why would you ask me that? You know, you drugged up. It's 2, 4, 3, 7. Boy, she gave me some good head. And you in the fetal position, feeling all good, all throbbing all in the back of your head, balls happy, empty, stomach full, you done ate. You're hugged up on her. And you wake up and she's gone. I ain't gonna lie, that's not happened to me. I'm too paranoid. I've been out there too much, though. You know, maybe my mind is tainted a little bit. I don't know. But energy fields, we're energy beings. You have to decipher what energies are around you. I'm not going to say just go out there with total strangers. Look at the people who are already in your life. Look at the people who are already in your life, who have shape-shifted slightly, or things changed in your life a little bit, and these people, they treat you different because, see, they see your mate or that new man, or if you're a man, you have a new woman in your life. They can sense their energy, the false people in your life, the negative, bad energy people in your life, and they know we can't run game on him or her anymore because I can tell he can see or she can see right through me. They can see right through me, so they'll treat you different, and you wonder why. They kind of act different since you came around. Yeah, because they know they're shysters and they know that you can see right through them. There are many situations I've been through like that in this life. There's some situations you have to just tell them directly. I know who you are. This is what you're all about. This is what you do. You will not do it to us anymore. Stay over where you are. You are bad energy. And you must be prepared to defend that line. You will not cross the line because I will go out of my way. If you cross the line, I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying this as a figure of speech. I will slap the taste out your mouth. Huh? You want to get down and throw some jammies? Fine. In your mind, you must feel this. And then oftentimes, you must be prepared to do this. Why? To keep your peace of mind. Because these people who have tormented minds, who made bad decisions, who are all jacked up in life, but it doesn't seem that way. It seems like still waters on the surface. But it's a raging sea under the bottom, and they want to use you to get them over that hump, whether it's financially or just keeping a close proximity to you as a safety valve, as a safety vent, just in case. just in case something happened, just like that black woman who sent her kids to go hang out with the little affluent white boys and white girls. Because we know they're going to be successful. So if you friends with them, they could always help you out. That's wrong. Let things happen naturally. There are people who will follow you around in this life in the hopes of catching the crumbs that you drop down. The very valuable crumbs. The very valuable hookups and proximities that you can gain by knowing them. No, you ain't gaining nothing from me. You better go do your own thing and pay your own debts and pull your own weight. Don't be planning on me to pull you through in nothing. Don't be scheming on me because you can't support your kids and you think if you call them uncle, call her auntie. Auntie so-and-so, auntie so-and-so. Auntie. So that's supposed to endear you to them. So when they got a broken leg and the parents can't pay for it, auntie so-and-so or uncle so-and-so will do it. Like, that's a nice gesture though, right? When it's an honest thing. But when it's something that's manufactured and engineered, well, you just going to have your child walk with a limp. You have got to be cruel to them like that. Because they will suck the life force out of you. And collectively, these people with their twisted, toxic, auric fields will have you walking around here with no life force at all. Once you are defeated in your spirit and perpetually depressed and you don't know why, you could have all the money in the world. You could have the biggest house. You could be living fine from the outside. People say, man, you got it all. But we all heard of that person who put the bullet in their head because they couldn't take life anymore because they had no life force. They were robbed of their life force, different situations, different relationships that let them down, different friendships that let them down, different institutions that let them down because they gave so freely or they weren't aware of how many people were taking from it. No. On your days off, if you're not working, if you want to go back to bed for 3 more hours, go back to bed for 3 more hours. If you're retired and don't have to deal with anybody as much as when you were working, then you don't have to deal with anybody. Do you. Do you. Your cup of positive energy must runneth over. Because very few people, especially the takers, they're not going to say, you've done so much for me. Let me come and do this for you. Isn't it something how the takers who get used to taking from you, they never do anything for you. They end up with the benefit of what you gave them. And now you might be destitute for a while. Maybe not destitute as far as money. You might be destitute emotionally, where you're drained. Maybe you lost a loved one. It may not be romantic, but they're not there to even feed into you. These people never feed into you, but they watch you like a hawk. Like that little girl looking to jump in the double Dutch ropes, and she's rocking back and forth, rocking back and forth, rocking back and forth. Oh, you got a new car? Let's get them to take me around for some rides. Oh, you're building a new house? Oh, you got all these extra materials? Let me get some. Or let's go half and half in this thing, but put it in my yard. Huh? And you ain't got one, but you gave up half. They gonna give you half? No, that was the point, to take from you, because they're takers. So there are a lot of them like that don't like me, because I'm like the cat that showed up at the house to live where the mice used to play. The mice are not coming out anymore. They're not coming over here anymore because the cat will snatch their heads off. Protect yourself at all times, like they say in boxing. That's boxing. That's basic. But you should know this on a spiritual level. How many pastors tell you that? They're not going to tell you that, these jackleg pastors, because they don't want you to be protected at all times as far as what you do. They want you to relegate this for them, and they're the fox in the chicken coop going through all the women, using the women to get the money of the husband so they can keep themselves pimped out with a pimped out condo and mansion and cars and trips while they're screwing your wife and screwing your daughters all over the place. They ain't going to tell you to protect yourself. I'm telling you to protect yourself. There's some of you who are listening to this now. I don't even know you, but I care for you because I hate to see the leeches win. I hate to see the parasites win. I hate to see the users win. I hate to see these pimp mentality people win. It's not right. And they will face their karma. And sometimes they'll get through this life and they'll get their karma on the next level where you can't see it, or it may not be immediate. The bottom line is I'm talking about you. See, look at your body. You occupy a physical space that nobody else in this world occupies. You got to understand that. So therefore, your perspective, although which may be similar to somebody else that was raised a certain way or in the same neighborhood or the same time, you'll have similar perspectives. But the bottom line is that you're very unique. We're living in a world where every single snowflake that comes down is different than the next one when you look at the design of it. And it's different from all the other snowflakes that for millions and millions of years, there's no two alike. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Even twins who look identical, they have differences. They have differences. So you're unique, which means you are given a special mission in this world to execute. Whether it's large or small, whether it's seen or unseen, you are important. And how dare these leeches, parasites, and users come by you with the intention of robbing your life force where you won't be able to fulfill your mission, but whatever carnal need they have, they're sitting back, wasting away your life force for foolishness. Now, if you're about something and you run into somebody who is truly about something and you back them up and support them, I'm all for that. You see what I mean? Because it doesn't diminish a candle to light 1,000 candles, but they got to be candles. It can't be you're lighting up some weed for somebody to smoke, because smoke is not supposed to be in your brain. It's not like you're subsidizing a wino who has no drive in life. So understand your life force is precious, and when you invest it in someone, not a taker, it will bring you back massive dividends on a spiritual level. Times when it seems like you have no way out because you invested in someone who was worthy and had the seeds of greatness put in them by the Creator, and you helped them to get to the next level, that comes back to you in ways that you may not even expect it. You might be walking down the street late at night with a good amount of money in your pocketbook or your pocket, and you know you're taking a chance, but you had to get to the ATM to have this money early in the morning, and now here comes 2 or 3 guys in the dark street walking towards you, looking kind of wayward. You pick up that it's a danger, but you hold your head, and they walk past you, and nothing happens. They could have come out there with the intention of ripping somebody off, and they all had guns on them. And they looked at you with the idea of ripping you off. But something didn't allow them to do that. Even they were shocked when they got down to the corner, and they looked at each other like, well, what happened? Why didn't you make a move? That skinny old woman over there, she can't handle you, and we got guns. I don't know, man, but we'll go on and get the next one. And then that same woman who was protected goes and turns on the news the next morning and sees 3 guys that shot and killed a woman for her pocketbook. Or she was getting into a Lexus. Her name could have been Barbara Robinson, right? And she's dead. They got away a little bit. They caught them. And she's looking. And those are those 3 guys. Oh my God. It could have been me. I felt it from them, but I was protected. And I could tell you, I have been in so many situations in this lifetime. When I look back, there's just no way that I'm supposed to be alive. Things that have happened where I knew in the street it could have been me. Laying down with women unprotected, not knowing who they are, looking for a little pleasure. Both of us could have came away with the monster, with a tainted bloodstream. My bloodstream has been clean all my life, and I only could thank the Creator for that. So there's nothing wrong with investing in good people, but do not invest in bad people. You see somebody who is a brilliant person with a great business plan and they need support, support them. They'll return your support 1,000-fold. But if you're the kind of person who don't care where it comes from, hey, yo, man, I just got out of jail, right? And, I got to put some work in the street. You know what I'm saying? I don't have too much money. Could you hit me off with something? You know what I'm saying? We had the money like in 3 days, man. We're going to sell this stuff off in the street, man. You know how good the crack trade is, right? I'll have your money back. You give all this money to this joker. He gets shot, dead, and killed in a bad drug deal, get arrested, whatever, or avoid you. Tell you ain't never gave. Man, you ain't never give me nothing, man. You get the F on up out of here. Bad energy, bad investments. Don't invest in people who are sauteed and simmered in a bad auric field. It just won't work. It just won't work. It would never work. Trust me. So anyway, I just want to let you know it's very good talking to you. The sun just popped out really bright. Looks so beautiful up here in the mountains. I'm going to go out there and see what Mr. SCURV is doing. And like I said, just be careful. Understand we're energy beings and energy doesn't lie. But if your filters are clogged, you can't read the next person's energy. So you've got to be meditated up. You've got to be centered. You got to be cleansed in your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit. You can't have any toxic moods and attitudes. That clogs you from seeing what's outside. Do you drive on a rainy day where there's mud on your windshield and you don't put the wipers on because you don't want to clog them up? Look, if you can't see out your windshield, you're going to end up with a head-on collision or a bad accident. And the same thing will happen to you in this life. It can start out small. It could start out in the supermarket with somebody asking you about the ice cream flavor. You just don't know what these things lead into. But every time you look back, hindsight is 20/20. You're like, if I had only known, if I had only figured it out at that point and stopped it, I would not be in this situation. All because you didn't read the energy of the people. And if you can do that, you avoid countless situations that would bring you down. And when you can avoid that by knowing what's around you, you can also see the good people who are sent to you. Ladies, lots of times that good man was sent to you, but you had girlfriends around you who told you how he wasn't a good catch, but they wanted him. And you see them with that man years from now. You want to purchase a particular home, and your friend encourages you to buy the bigger house, knowing good and damn well that you can't afford it when that mortgage comes. See, sometimes we have people set us up for a fall. Do everything sensible, clear-headed, sure-footed. Seek good counsel, not frivolous people who are not living a certain way. If they can't handle their debts, how are they going to tell you what to do? But it's always those people who never did the damn thing who got the biggest advice and the most stuff to tell you about how you need to live your life. I think it's crazy. Anyway, let me move on. I'll do something a little later. I ranted, didn't know where it was going to go, but I think it came out pretty good. I'd love to see your comments and feedback, and let me know what you want me to talk about or rant about. Because I have a lot of experience in life at 60 years old. I don't know everything. I'm still learning. Like I said, I learned about the auric field, but I had an idea about it. But it's conversations like this and monologues like this and rants like this that jumpstart us in a very thought-provoking way, because it may not be the whole thing that you dug. You probably didn't even agree with everything, maybe a little bit, but let's vibe. And I appreciate when you let me know, listen, Lance, I didn't really agree with this, but this part I can ride with. Maybe that's something I need to help me to grow. You understand? Because until the day that I leave this plane, I seek to grow, to ascend, and make myself better. And if someone is not looking to do that, that's an indication that they have a bad auric field, energy field around them, and you need to run. Get out of there like a bat out of hell. Anyway, much love to you all. Lancescurv out. On to the next one. I really enjoyed myself, and we're going to create lots of good content to stimulate the brain and to make us better. Peace.